Hey, hey, hey! It's the Pacific Northwest Geekyo Echo Zero here. And I just got back from the movie theaters where I watched the 2022 movie She Came from the Woods. Now, this movie made its debut, I guess, had a sneak screening in August of 2022 at Fright Fest, but was released theatrically on February 10th, 2023. Now, this movie, which stars William Sadler, tells of this summer camp, Brybrook, which I don't know. I want to say it's like a drama camp because it's like they talk about acting and stuff for these kids. We're introduced to our camp counselors, Mr. McAllister, played by William Sadler, who is the head of the camp, his daughter Heather, and her children Sean and Peter. We also get to meet people like the counselors like Dylan, Danny, and Ben. And Lauren, too, who I believe Ben and Lauren is supposed to be brother and sister. Anyways, as we're getting to meet these characters, and we'll also get to see pretty much, almost not quite off the bat, that Dylan's going to be the asshole character. We see that one of the characters has his eyes on one of the female camp counselors, and has had for a while, but hasn't made a move, and is being teased by everybody, including the kids who are like, "Dude, be a man, stop being a pussy, go man up, talk to her." We find out when Heather's talking to Sean that Heather's dad's going to be retiring, and she had no idea until her son drops the bombshell. We also find out that the Peter might be seen as a bit of a flake because I guess there's an issue with the bus overheats. And so he goes to take the kids home because it's the end of the summer for them. And Heather goes to talk to her dad, who's like, 42 years, because the movie takes place in 1987. But he's like, after 42 years, he goes, I need to go out. I'm done. I can't do this no more. That night, we learn about Nurse Agatha Good, who in 1945 was a nurse there, and apparently something had happened. She got fired, and then she was working near the camp and got in trouble, and she ended up dead. But there's some kind of ceremony incantation that can be used to summon her to bring her back. And they've tried before to do this, and they've been trying for years, but have been failing. Peter gets this bright idea that he knows how they can do it, get to work. They need to give her something to heal. So they take these syringes and they all poke their fingers to draw blood. Nothing seems to happen at first, and it's just, whatever, things are norm. Finally, that one camp counselor goes to make a move, and that other camp counselor tries to force a kiss on her, and she says, no, there's another guy that, back home that I'm interested in. He's my guy, and he's like, no, you're not, you're lying. When she goes to go talk to one of the other counselors, I think it's Lauren she goes to talk to, he shows up with a rock and bashes her head in front of everybody. He bashes her head in and then throws her face first into this bonfire they're having, and is stabbed by another one of the camp counselors in order to stop him. They go running to Heather to tell her what happened. And she's like, what the hell's going on? They gotta call the police. However, the phone, when she's calling the phone, it blows up and injures one of her ears. They realize they got to use a PA system because there's two camp counselors that are still out there. They need to go and get those two other camp counselors. They need to get help. At the same time, the bus breaks down. And Sean's having a bad time. He's none too happy. He tries to get the kids to be quiet. They're not being quiet. Then out of the blue, they're quiet. And they turn around and they're all looking forward. It's like, okay, well, the silent game. He goes to work on the bus. And you see him as he opens the hood, look at the engine, and says, I can't fix it. When he closes it, you see the bus is empty. And when he goes on the bus, he sees the empty. He hears a sound coming from Korn because there is a couple, maybe more than a couple, kind of throwbacks to some other 80s movies. And this one, the Corn, Children of the Corn. He hears the kids making some sounds, and he goes to check and see what's going on. Meanwhile, at the camp, strange things are happening where they discover the kids have come back to the camp. And the kids are up to something. Acting, weird. Eventually, they finish the ceremony, and they summon Agatha. However, Ben can't see it because he didn't perform the ceremony. He didn't prick his finger. He didn't do any of that stuff. So he can't see her. They take off. The girl he's with is killed. She's dragged away. The kids seem to drain of her blood like that, biting into her. The kids are now under Agatha's control. Eventually, Sean makes it to a gas station, some kind of place, where he calls his grandfather and tells him, I think they did the ceremony. And his grandfather's like, oh shit, I'll be right there. We see that Dylan is a complete asshole. He doesn't care. When Vanessa is like, he's trying to basically have sex with her. And she's like, dude, do you just want to fuck me so I forget what happened to my friend? And he's like, yeah. Then he gets mad at this other guy. He's like, dude, you've been cock blocking me this whole time. So he's the asshole character. I won't get on into too much because I don't want to spoil it. The movie itself does give a bit of an 80s feel to it with the music. When you do hear the clothes, they've tried to not use as much as the modern tech, or 90s tech, or 2022 tech as they could. The kills, the makeup it's practical. Say for there might be one scene where they might have quickly used some CGI, but if there was other CGI that was used, they hit it pretty good. Again, it's that's pretty cool. It's got the 80s feel. Again, the music, the way they dress, everything. Weaknesses though. Agatha is supposed to be this big threat, and the kids at times seem like more of a threat. And they don't really give you a good look at her until the end. Boy, that was they give her backstory, but it seems like the end with her was anticlimactic. Now this movie again made its debut in August of 2022 and didn't make a theatrical release until February 10th, 2023, and was I enjoyed sitting in the theater. I think that was the best part, is watching a horror movie in the theater, because that's watching horror movies in the theater, it's fun. Although that particular theater is a crappy theater. I hadn't been there in years, and this is the first time in years I've been there, and I don't see myself ever going back there because that theater was crappy the last time I went there, and it's gone downhill. I wish the other theater would show movies like this, which I didn't even know about this movie until I was looking to see what was playing at the theaters, and I saw this. I was like, she came from the woods. Let me look this up. Maybe this movie, I don't know, would this have been better set for a home release than a theatrical release? Maybe a streaming release, not a theatrical release. But I mean, there wasn't that many people there in the theater. It's a Tuesday, and there was a lot of seniors there, and they were there to mostly see stuff like 84 Brady. I really miss my old. There used to be another theater that used to show a lot of horror movies like this. I wish that theater was still around. It was a much better theater than this. So if it's playing at a theater near you, go ahead and check it out. I'd be interested if they do when they do a home release of this, to see if there's going to be an uncut one, because there seems to be some plot holes in it. Not plot holes, but it feels like things aren't completed. They could have gone further with, that were left open. There was one scene where it shows a car driving away, and then it shows something else happening, and then it goes back to that same scene of the car driving away. It wasn't a flashback, but I don't know why they did something like that. If you see the movie, I've seen it. You'll catch that. The fun, like, I'm gonna wait to see what when this comes out in home media, and hopefully there is like a director's cut or uncensored one. The gore is not really a gory movie. That's a lot of practical effects. Sorry about that. The ice cream man drove by playing his fucking music, so I had to stop it. And instead of refilming the whole thing, I'll just finish what I was talking about. And it's what I was saying. It's not particularly a gory movie. The most graphic it gets is a guy gets set on fire, and then you get to see his burnt, disfigured face before his head is bashed in. That is about as gory as it gets. The makeup and the effects is all practical again, save for one, real quick. I believe it. It happens so quick, it's hard to tell. If there's a home release, as I was saying before, I might be repeating myself. I'm interested to see if there's like an uncut, a director's one. And I was sitting there, I was like, dude, this really kind of. I was feeling the vibes of the old 80s um, movies, particularly the old like summer camp ones, like Friday the 13th, The Burning, Camp Sleepaway, those kind of things. It gave you those feels. William Sadler, I mean, it's awesome seeing him. I can't recall the last time I saw William Sadler in a movie. I was trying to think when the last time I saw him in anything other than, I know he was in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but Die Hard 2, but I know I've had to have seen him in something since then. The trailer kind of also gives you that 80s feel with the 80s music, and the character of Dylan with the ripped jeans and the mullet screams 80s. The camp counselor's looks screams 80s. The almost knee-high socks with the color, with the white socks with like the stripe around it. Wow. I mean, damn. That was cool. Anyways, I gotta go. I gotta go take care of something. And I really don't know about this new look. I really miss my long goatee. Oh, my long goatee. But anyways, I'm Echo Zero. And I will see you on the flip side. Toodaloo.